This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the May Commission on Disability meeting. So I do not have the minutes from last month because they were not given to me yet, so we can't go over those. Is there anybody here for public speak? Meg, are you public speak?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. So my name is Meg Bandera and I live in Northampton, but I'm also the founder of Unpaved Trails for All, which is a group that advocates for accessible unpaved trails around the state. First, I want to say how impressive Easthampton is for having 2 accessible unpaved trails. In particular, Mount Tom North is probably one of the best trails in the entire state. But that's really unusual for a community to have not 1 but 2 accessible trails. Most communities don't have any accessible unpaved trails, and even our state parks are really short in accessible trails. We have about 4,000 miles of unpaved trails in state parks, but only 7.5 miles are accessible. So the reason that I'm here today is because I want to make you aware of a bill that we've been advocating for that would increase accessibility in all types of trails throughout the state. And I would like to ask for this commission's support of that bill. The bill is S.446 and H.769. And it has a goal of increasing accessibility on all types of trails in the state within 3 years. And particularly important and crucial is that it would include a work group that had people living with disabling conditions as part of the working group, which has never happened before. And having a seat at the table and having some say in how the system is working and the infrastructure is working would be really important. So basically, I'm happy to answer any questions about the bill. I'm happy to have conversations with anyone who's curious about it outside of the meeting, but I'm looking for commission support on a community level because even though this is a state level bill, it has impacts on community resources in terms of funding, and community support goes a long way towards making an impact on the state level when it comes to introducing new legislation. So that's my comment for today, and I'm happy to have this be an opening conversation, hopefully, about this bill and this issue.
In the future, if you want to contact me, you can just come and we can put it on the agenda to talk about. If you want more of a back and forth conversation or something.
Yeah, right, because the open meeting law prohibits us from discussing something that's not on the agenda.
Right.
Okay,
But
well, thank you.
I bet all the information in an email would further.
What do you mean? We can't talk
We
about
can't
stuff.
talk, but could she send you an email with repeating what she said though? Would that-
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I was just, I
Yeah.
feel like this is important to
Yeah.
Meg, so like if you want it to be on the agenda, you can just ask in the future.
Sure. Can you just let me know who I should contact in particular?
Me, Angelique Baker,
Okay.
and our meetings are only once a month, so.
Right.
Well, thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right, Eddie. Hi, can you hear? Okay, Eddie? No, it's on mute.
Eddie, yeah, you're muted, Eddie.
All right. Yeah, I can hear you guys somewhat. So I did have a presentation with some slides. I don't know if I'm able to share them.
Yes, I can.
Sure.
I can set it so you.
Did she let you know that it's about 10 minutes, the time that you?
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Let's see. How do we do that?
Okay.
yeah.
Does anyone know how I can
That's fine. If it's only 5 minutes, because the
10.
slides are actually going to take longer,
10 minutes.
I can just talk a little bit about what we do.
Can you, it's 10 minutes, not 5 minutes.
Okay.
Don't you just
Oh,
click on
add
the
as co-host.
person?
I see it. Okay, Eddie, you should be able to share your screen now.
All right. And are you guys able to see this?
Nothing
No.
yet.
Not yet.
No?
Do you know how this works on a Google meeting if somebody's sharing? Because we added as a co-host, but we can't see anything.
Not really.
Yeah, just
They'll,
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
All right. You guys, all
now.
right, perfect. All right. So my name is Eddie Martinez. I'm a self-sufficiency specialist at the Department of Transitional Assistance. So I work in the cash side of the house. My caseload is mostly with teenagers, and I help them finish their education, get daycare, amongst other things. So I'm just going to give a glance of what the Department of Transitional Assistance does. Okay. So the Department of Transitional Assistance assists and empowers low-income individuals and families to meet their basic needs, improve their qualities of life, and achieve long-term economic self-sufficiency. DTA provides 1 in 7 residents in the Commonwealth with direct economic assistance and food assistance, as well as workforce training opportunities and support. Ways to apply for benefits. You can go to dtaconnect.com to apply for SNAP and cash assistance. You can fax in applications. You can mail in the application. You can call our assistance line and we can do it over the phone. Or you can go to mass.gov and put SNAP outreach partners, and someone will be there to assist you.
So you mentioned
Right.
teenagers, but is this the program for folks that are disabled?
Yes, we do have we do have a program which is called EADC for disabled individuals that are pending their SSI claim.
Okay, so because since we have limited time, we only want to know about stuff that pertains to folks with disabilities.
Okay, so let me just stop presenting, and I'll just all right. So we do have a program called EADC, which is for individuals who are disabled who are pending their SSI claim. As we all know, SSI does take a while for folks to get approved. So in the meantime, we can assist folks who are disabled with cash assistance. It's about $401 a month. Once their SSI claims becomes eligible, then we'll take back from the retroactive amount, whatever the department has given them. But this is just some short-term assistance until they can get their SSI. And ways to apply for the EADC program is online, right? dtaconnect.com. They can call us in at our assistance line, or they can fax in an application. If you guys do want to know more about the program, you can go to mass.gov and they'll give you more information about the EADC program. All right. Do anyone have any questions on the EADC program?
What does EADC stand for?
Emergency Assistance for the Elderly, Disabled.
I don't think so. You can keep going. We don't have questions.
So,
Oh, no questions. Okay. So, I'll just hop out just because I have to continue doing my work. Okay.
So there's a little confusion. So we can hear about normal, like how would one apply for food stamps? They would need their social security award letters. Like we can hear about normal services. The ones that apply to folks with disabilities, so.
No, so as far as like folks who are receiving disability, like Social Security or SSI, we have access through that at the department. So we can pull that up so they won't have to provide the letter. Once they apply, there's certain information that is required in the application online. And then once they fill that out, one of the workers will get a hold of them and they'll do an interview. So if there's anything else that's missing, we'll be able to let the client know at that time.
Do you have accommodations there for folks that are applying that are struggling with things?
Yes, we do have accommodations. We have client assistance coordinators that will reach out to the clients, and depending on their accommodations, we will do that. So we have folks that can't come into the office, so like all the reviews and appointments will be done over the phone. And there's also other accommodations that we will give out to folks with disabilities.
Okay. All right, and how do you apply for the stuff? Do you have to do it online?
Yep, you can do it online. You can contact our assistance line and we can do it over the phone. Okay. What I'll do is I'll share the presentation that we prepared. It's going to have the phone number. It's going to have the website. We also have an app for the cell phones where folks can apply. So there's various ways of applying, but I'll share the PowerPoint that was prepared. All the information will be there.
So it's both food stamps and cash, because you only mentioned
That is correct.
cash earlier. Okay. All right, thank you.
Oh, no problem. All right, so I'll share this with Angelique, okay?
Yep,
All right, thank you guys.
thank you.
Bye-bye. Let's see. I'm not sure what happened there, but okay. So we're gonna go to the small business primers. You guys can. So these were made a long time ago, years ago.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. You don't have it memorized? Is that two or is that one? Oh,
All right. So I just want you guys to look at it real quick. So when I started on the commission, this was our first project to make this little booklet, and the idea was to send this to businesses. Poor me, Eli. Send it to businesses, like if they were making, I don't know, making mistakes, like accessibility mistakes, and this is like a nice way of like, here, you need to follow these rules.
Yeah, I gotta follow these rules.
Say it again?
Gotta follow these rules.
Yep.
Gotta follow the rules.
Yep, follow the rules. So if you guys could just take a minute or two and look at it, maybe try to read the little ones, because we just need to sort of have it approved so that the planning department can use it, I guess, right?
Did you say that the mayor wanted to distribute this at an event or something?
Yes, but I thought that was going through. Nothing to do with you.
I've always been tracing your emails on it, so the one thing that we saw was, I guess my question would be, do you want to have a contact for the commission directly? Because right now it would go, that's my office phone number, and then we would change the email address. Do you want it to go to the commission directly, or?
so we do have an email, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, we could, I mean, could we put yours and mine,
You
or?
could do both.
Okay.
Because I think that was the one, that would have been my advice. That'd be the thing we can update, and then it's usable. And I think that was the key thing.
So she had said she was going to send out with something, but you don't know exactly what it was.
No.
Eli, do you remember from our meeting, the mayor many, many months ago? She was talking about primers and sending them out. I thought she was saying she was going to apply for some sort of grant, and she wanted these to go with it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember that meeting. Are you sure I was there?
Yes,
Oh.
because I've only met with her with you.
Oh,
But we were there for the PTSD panel,
oh, that's
and we were
right.
there for the dance.
And then
And then she brought up the primers, but that was some time ago. So
Yeah.
I would suggest usually you and I can kind of just work on this, contact us,
Yep.
and we can update it. We can put it back on the website just as an
Yeah.
updated thing, and then we can send it to Lindsay or the mayor and
Okay.
say, here's the
I asked.
ADA primer.
I did ask Lindsay a couple of times over the past couple months, like, because I thought I was behind on something.
Okay.
So I was like, we're gonna get them to you, but like, what exactly do you need them for? What date? How? Why? Yes. You guys see anything off the top of your head, or
Okay.
that you need changed?
Yeah, so Stan, we're talking about the ADA primer for small businesses. I don't know if you have a copy of that.
I do.
Okay, good.
All right. So if there's nothing that needs to be changed that you guys saw immediately, we're gonna put the information on the back. You can keep those. Do you just want to keep one because they probably don't all want them, do they?
I'll keep it.
Do you like to keep stuff? What do you think?
Do you want to keep it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
take a home.
Yeah.
What is the email address that you guys use? Is it cod@easthamptonma.gov?
I think it is. I gotta look it up. I
Okay.
will send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing was Stan, could you give like a quick little update about the webinar that you went to?
Well, it was an excellent webinar to describe the do's and don'ts of the open meeting law and what you can do and who you can communicate without violating the law and how you can communicate. It's still available online, the recording of it, if you want to review it. I believe I had sent Angelique and Eli the link to where to find it. I can send it to the group as a whole if you need it or want it. It was an excellent webinar, but I think most of us are probably aware of all the do's and don'ts already. In terms of what you can do or what you have to do if you have a quorum that you're addressing in either an email or a voicemail or anything like that, what you can do if it's simply a one-to-one communication. And it's issues like that that can get in trouble with the open meeting law.
So,
I can't go into all the details. It was, an hour-long webinar.
Right.
And it covered a lot of ground, but I think most of us are familiar with the details.
yeah, so I have a question. I don't know if they covered this, but so last month there was someone who joined the meeting remotely and didn't identify themselves, and I let them in, but then later people told me I wasn't supposed to let them in unless they identified themselves. So I don't, and he later contacted me, and said that he appreciated me not making him identify himself, and that, and so I don't, did you hear anything about what the open meeting law says about that?
If they were there for open speak, they're supposed to identify themselves with their full name and where they live
But he,
before they speak.
yeah, but he wasn't speaking, he was just observing.
So what?
I don't know, I don't remember anything about just observing. I mean,
Okay.
most of it was covering various types of participation or communication,
So what it is?
not just watching something.
So what it is in the past, people have come into meetings and like done horrible things. Show their, I don't know, not this
Yeah.
meeting, but like
Yeah.
meetings, right? Like show their privates or yell or scream or whatever. So you're not supposed to let.
Virtual meetings, yes.
So you're not supposed, like you're
to.
supposed to identify yourself, but all like to make sure you're a real person
Yeah.
there. But also, you could. I mean, that is hard, right? Because like, what
Yeah.
if you don't? I don't know. I guess I say identify themselves because if we weren't mobile, they would be. Maybe go ahead.
Yeah.
Identify themselves as like I'm here for the meeting. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like we could at least do like Easthampton citizen, or like instead of just a random sequence of numbers,
Okay.
I mean, that
Yeah.
might be a good,
It's tricky though because the city has no rules. The city would need to have a rule for someone joining a Zoom meeting to
yeah.
have like a name. And so there's no, like city council or school committee, there are no requirements to identify yourself or have a name attached to the online.
So when we went hybrid, I was just told that people have to.
I don't think there's any rule that says that they have to. And like, so if someone was in this room,
Yeah, they don't have to say anything.
they don't have to, it's just the same thing. So I would just say it was nice that you tried, but I think I was about to jump in at the last meeting. Like I think we would not kick them off. Everyone has the right to just join a virtual meeting and not identify themselves or talk. Just like they would sit in a room and it might be awkward, they can stare at you and not tell you who they are.
So like, what would happen if people did do something not great?
Well, that's like if you're getting hacked, then you need to shut down the meeting. If you can't. It hasn't happened in a while, which is good.
Yeah, I don't
but,
like that dragon.
Like the city council has had meetings with a ton of people, and so has the school committee, if you
Right.
mentioned lately.
Yeah.
So the city has no overarching rule that says they have to have a name. So, just have to hope for the best.
Yeah, there would be no way for us to know whether the name was
True. Yeah.
correct or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
That's not. I was just told. I wasn't even told they needed to have like a name, but they were supposed to not. I don't know. I was just told not to let people just come in.
I think you have to. It's a public
Okay.
meeting.
I mean, that does make sense. Yeah.
Hand raised too.
Go ahead, Stan.
Yep.
Well, it's a public meeting, but it's an Easthampton department. So, I mean, we would not want, unless we invited them, we would not want somebody from Holyoke attending our meeting and speaking at our meeting. When I spoke before the city council, when I was still attending things in person, when I went up to the podium, they asked me my name and address before I spoke.
That's
Right.
true.
I think there's two different things. So if someone attended the meeting and during public speak they wanted to say something, then yes, you have the request is, can you identify your name and address for the record? So that if they were wanting to speak, so that's how city council, that's how the planning board handles it. But they were just on the Google Meet call just to listen, and then anybody can listen.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
okay,
Why?
I mean, if they're in there to listen, do we keep their microphone off?
Yes.
Because if they're in the meeting and they start talking, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, you could, that's
an
different, like,
option.
yeah, that's like, the chairperson can control the meeting, or you could mute the person. That's fine, that's just managing the meeting. But if someone was there to just listen, and they didn't wanna like unmute to say anything, then that's within their right to do that.
Can
Okay.
I ask why we wouldn't want somebody from Holyoke talking? As an example? You said we wouldn't want somebody from Holyoke coming to our meeting and talking.
Is your sound cutting out, Stan?
No, my sound is okay. I said Holyoke, not Ohio, but,
Oh, no, yeah,
either one
Holyoke.
is relevant. I mean, when some of us attended the COD meeting in Northampton, it was at their invitation.
No, we can go whenever we want. I don't always.
Well, now we can, but they invited us to go anytime we want.
But it's a public meeting. You can go whenever you want to whomever's meetings and whoever's town and whoever's state.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I stand corrected then.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a legal mandate that there has to be Easthampton residents here. I don't know why I would want to go to like a Buckland Sewer Committee meeting. Like, you know, I mean, and probably there would be presumptions that I was odd if I identified myself from Easthampton. You know, they're there for the lulls, but like, you know, it's
Yeah.
you know, I don't know that it's prohibited. I might get eye rolls if I spoke there too, you know.
I think I'm going to add a question to the COD application. Must have a good sense of humor. Like,
Thanks, Jeff Bag, for that clarification.
let's see, what else? Survey subcommittee. We're gonna,
Yeah.
we met for a few minutes. Just want to touch on that.
We met for a few minutes, and people gave me some feedback, some more feedback on what I had done, and I've worked on it some more, and I think I think we're getting there, but toward a presentation. But I don't really have anything specific to
That's okay.
say about
That's a
it.
good update. He made an outline. It looks really good.
Thank you.
So we just need to talk about new members because we lost 2 members last meeting. Did Molly announce that she wasn't coming back?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't know prior. Okay, so we have, I think, 7 spots. And,
Yeah, plus we don't have a secretary.
right. So something I forgot to put on the agenda is that on May 20th, I'm gonna go do like, I called it a meet and greet. The library calls it office hours. There's a book sale on the 20th, and so I'll be there in hopes that some people come up and ask what we do, and maybe they want to help. So if there's more opportunities like that in the future, if any of you want to sit at a table.
When are the office hours?
It's 12:30 to 1:30, I think, that day.
You know what day is it? What day is it on?
It's a Saturday, I believe,
Yeah,
the
I'm-
20th.
it's a
Where's it
Yeah.
gonna be at, you know?
So I'll be there for the hour.
What
but-
library?
Easthampton.
I'll probably do it.
Yeah, Easthampton Library.
Yeah, if I live in here, so I can probably do it.
The not wheelchair accessible Easthampton Library.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what they were telling us, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder in terms of the
Still,
getting
but-
the numbers in general. I mean,
I know.
like, it takes a specialized availability to be able to attend these meetings.
Yes and no. I mean, if we move it to the evening, then lots of people can't do it in the evening
Yeah.
because we've tried. We took many polls in the past and like.
But were we polling the people who were there during the daytime? You know?
No, yes and no. We were polling everybody. Like we were asking the community, and like so as many people that couldn't come during the day, like then those same like it was like the opposite. Now those people can't come at night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You're right. Like coming to a meeting during the day does take a special availability.
Yeah.
But so I have brought this up in the past. I think.
Yeah, I think I remember you were asked
About having 2 meetings or like 2 meetings a month, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. But then Jamie was talking about not meeting quorum because people can't come.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you have things you want me to consider or move or like if you have a bunch. If you guys end up meeting people and they're like, if only it was at night, I mean, we could consider moving it, but then like you couldn't come, right?
It'd be harder, but
It'd be a lot harder. You want your day to be done at some point, right?
I go to a lot of night meetings, so yeah, that would be the tricky part for me. But don't worry about me. I think continuing so using your Facebook posts to maybe say that the commission needs members.
Yeah.
And then occasionally the mayor's office puts out the list of committees with vacancies. It's not unique to the commission.
Right.
That we have a couple committees that just kind of ebb and flow, have members and then don't have members and then comes back. So it's kind of a natural process.
Yes.
I'm wondering, like, in terms of like helping people understand the commission, would it like make sense to like have just a really friendly paragraph about what each is discussed at each meeting? Today we heard from
The DTA.
DTA about transitional assistance for for
Are you
people
saying
with
posting
disability.
that
Yeah,
to invite
just
people in?
just to invite people in.
So I do
Yeah.
make a post like that, but it's the other way. It's before. It's like today we're going to have as opposed to recapping back, but. So
yeah, maybe we did, what we did and just, and we also talked about our survey coming up. We would like more members to help us out and talk to,
Yes.
blah, 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 blah.
So.
And I know you put a lot of effort in and I'm spitballing.
Oh no, you're good. Don't worry, we're good. So unfortunately, even when I do that, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stop doing it, but I still don't get people I usually get people that are interested and then they meet with me and then they trail off.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan, you have something to say?
Yes, I wanted to point out that Mo Bellevue of the Chamber of Commerce does a weekly show on Easthampton Media, and she has guests on with her, often from local businesses, but she may be willing to have you on as a guest talking about our commission and what we do and what we need and what we want to do, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then it goes into the YouTube. It becomes recorded by Easthampton Media, and it's available in their YouTube. And you could send the link out over Facebook for people to come watch it.
That's a good idea. Can you send me that name so I have it spelled right?
But she's the head of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So you can just go to the Chamber of Commerce and you'll find her name.
Okay.
And can you loop me in on that?
I'll loop you in. All right, so, all right, you were talking about recapping the meetings. The other thing is like my personal Facebook account is still hooked up to the COD account and Kareen,
that how you say her name, I believe, because everybody says it different. I believe that it's Karine because I thought she was Spanish.
I'm pretty sure she told me that it was Kareem.
Yes. She was supposed to help me take my account off, and somehow, we want that all legal, but it has not happened yet. So.
Yeah. But if you do that, then how can you post on it?
So it would be, I'd be signing in under the committee's email
Oh, I see. Okay.
somehow. It would definitely be a lot harder. Because right now I can just switch it real quick, boop, 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 and I'm in, but just like that, so exactly. Yeah, so there'll be other, Stan, you had mentioned some other places to do some office hours.
I did. One of them is at the co-op. They have a room right at the entrance. So weather is not an issue, and they have a couple of big picnic tables there. And they use that up for various kinds of community meetings. And I do know the manager of our co-op, up by the north of here. And we'd be happy to talk to her about that if you would like.
Sure. And then I'll let you guys know, and if you want to come, you can come. But, and I'll have some applications with me. Anything else on that piece, on recruiting?
Only that all of these events that we're talking about provide a good use for our new banner,
Yes, with the oranges on
whether
it.
you like it or not.
Oh my gosh.
I would like to go to it.
When is the time to sign table at Cultural Chaos?
She didn't give me that yet.
Or farmer's market coming up.
There's no farmer's market yet.
Yeah, but they're,
Cultural
I
Chaos.
think,
Coming soon.
I think now it's coming soon. Now would be a good time to talk to someone about it. And the person would be, I have her, Jen Krassler, I have her email.
Is it still the popsicle lady?
No, that's Julie something.
She's awesome.
She's pretty cool, yeah. No, but yeah, because I already I volunteer there to packing up at the end. So
Okay.
yeah, so I could sit at a table there too. That would be fine.
Okay.
And I can contact her if that because I already know her.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. So we're moving on to accessibility ordinance update. Has Omar gotten back to you?
No, I did send him an email, but he did
No.
not respond.
So that's the accessibility ordinance is the one that we were trying to change, that it would list what types of accessibility options there are and a phone number of somebody who could answer questions. Omar was supposed to talk to, I think, Salem about it. But anyways, it's been a couple months. I haven't heard back from him, and I've asked several times. So I know he's probably really busy. But so that means I still don't have an update on the accessibility ordinance. And then I feel like there was something else that I forgot to put on. No, primers. We got the primers, we got the webinar that I didn't. Is there any other new business, Jeff? Is there anything like we should know about? Anything?
Not really. I was gonna look I thought the ordinance committee met recently. I was just
Okay.
gonna try to see if they had it on their agenda.
Okay.
But yeah, I would encourage you to just keep emailing. Either
Yeah.
Omar or Salem or both.
Okay.
Just keep asking for an update.
I hate bothering people, but it's been months. So since I submitted the, so.
Yeah, I could give a little news thing if we have time.
Yeah, go bring on the news.
Okay. No. Yeah. So I attended this talk about it's about autism, but there's a something in the school district called the Special Education Parents Advisory Council.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they had like a talk from a guest speaker that was supposed to be about the history of autism. It was kind of disappointing. Like there wasn't a lot of information in
The
this
thing you
talk.
sent me.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
I sent you. But I think it was kind of good to know about this council, and maybe there would be some kind of opportunity for collaboration with them.
Yeah. Did you catch the person's name?
At the time I did, but I can't remember it now.
That's
Screen?
What's that?
Screen?
That sounds familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my friend Evan was telling me about that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the talk itself was disappointing though.
Oh, go ahead, Stan.
Speaking of ordinances, is our snow removal ordinance still a work in progress?
Yeah, we've been trying to have meetings, but right, Eli, but people haven't been responding.
I responded.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we've been trying to, we haven't really had any meetings about it, to the point where I'm not even really sure like who's part of this subcommittee and who isn't, but I sent out an email asking for like people's general availability, like so that I could just try to figure out even what options to give people about meeting times. And Stan responded and Jeff Brown responded.
Well, that would be it. Lisa, and I'm flexible usually, so.
Yeah.
I guess we don't know what to do next with the snow stuff.
I think my suggestion would be, Angelique, I think as you as the chair, to reach out to the DPW director, Greg Nuttleman, and see if he can come to a meeting coming up.
So I do remember you saying that, but then your feelings were about DPW coming in?
Yeah, I mean, unless we have specific questions for him, like prepared. Yeah, I kind of don't want to have just like an open conversation with him.
Right. I remember this discussion from the last meeting. Maybe you weren't at this meeting.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate that, but I do think that having the DPW director explain the city's process for snow removal might be helpful. Just kind of a informational session so that the commission at least is on the same page, understanding what DPW's process is.
Like, should I have him come to the regular meeting or a subcommittee?
I think coming to a regular meeting,
Okay.
just to understand, because I think I've heard bits and pieces from him, and I've heard bits and pieces from you guys, and I think just making sure that we all understand the way it works, then looking at the ordinance and trying to come up with potential things to think about changing. You just start from the same understanding of what they currently do. I would just suggest that might be a good place to start to make sure the commission understands how the DPW approaches it.
Right.
So,
but that's my suggestion.
Well, that does make sense, yeah.
I feel like there's kind of way to accommodate. I think I accommodate. But what you're saying makes sense to me, even if it is prior to DPW coming, because what's your process is really a vague thing. I mean, I think there's specific questions we want to know about a process, like, what sidewalks do you clear? Like, what's your process for, how do we report if something is not cleared? What do you do about blocked crosswalks when DPW plows make it? So I mean, there's benefit to grounding us in those, ourselves in those questions beforehand, because otherwise, you know, I mean, we had, you know, we had a police officer here to explain process, and he just did not know where to begin to talk to the committee, frankly.
So maybe
It could be both. I mean,
having on the next agenda, you know, a discussion of questions for DPW as a group,
Great.
flush
Yeah.
them out, and then, you know, I think the best case scenario is if you, as commission meets next month, then we have questions and we can send them to the director ahead of time, and then have him come give an overview of the process and then try to answer the questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be helpful. And for the record, like, I'm not trying to badmouth him. Like, he's probably a good guy. I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not sure he would be helpful, like, as a partner in, like, trying to change the policy. Like, but yes, he might be helpful in helping us understand how things work now.
Stan, you don't have to raise your hand. You can just talk.
Okay. If anyone is interested, you can go to the city website and get a copy of the current existing snow removal ordinance that is part of the city list of ordinances and has been all along, but it doesn't get enforced.
Right, and this is where, you know, there's two parts of the discussion. So, and I think Jeff mentioned this, the DPW has a list of sidewalks that they pay a contractor to clear snow from. I think that list has come up. We talked about, last time this came up, the DPW director suggested that the commission look at really critical sidewalks that are not getting plowed and help create that list. So we're not gonna be able to create that list right away, but that's something that we can have dialogue. It turns out, you know, to be a funding situation where if there's consensus on adding a sidewalk or more areas to clear, then the funding would have to go up. So the DPW director would have to be aware of that. But that's the city side. And then the ordinances for other sidewalks that are not city owned. So the ordinance applies to, one of the questions is, does the ordinance apply to the DPW? So we can ask that. But generally it's like for the other sidewalks, for the homeowners or property owners to clear, that's the ordinance that Stan just mentioned. And the police department enforces that part. So there's two parts to that, if not more.
And if we want, like, a priority list, I mean, most of us, like, aren't directly affected by it. Like me, like, you know, I don't. It doesn't really affect me directly. So I feel like I couldn't, you know, like, in my opinion about which sidewalks are more important. Like, I don't know if it's very helpful. Like, we should be like, we should be getting, like, forming that list from what people say who actually matters to.
Right, and I think that knowing the list that the DPW already has would be a good starting point, and then if there are other critical sidewalks that would open up the opportunity for a lot more people to, if they were cleared by the city.
Is that, what about all the pictures that you sent? Like, is that something we should?
I would ease into that. But I think just you know, kind of was pretty pointed with it. I think that's like a methodology. It's like, how are they doing it, and could they push it a little farther and just have the opening occur? And the DPW said, yeah, in some cases they could definitely do that, but in other cases it's just not. They're not going to be able to do that, and then the homeowner would have to be the one who comes in.
If the current ordinance for homeowners was adequately enforced, it would provide extra income from the fines to the DPW to come in and clear up and pay for the clearing of sidewalks that weren't cleared by the homeowners or the building owners.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think that the cost of sending officers out to enforce it would be more than any fines they could collect.
they don't have to go out to enforce it. It's enforced, through sending an email or sending a paper mail to the homeowner, and if they don't comply, the city taxing agency collects the money from them.
Yeah,
I believe that's the way the ordinance is currently set up.
Can I put the letters down on a blocked sidewalk to walk on it and traverse the venue to walk on? You know, I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a hard conversation, and they've had this conversation before. I think the police department is
No, I know.
enforcement arm. DPW, I think it's, the police department and most of the community members want the opportunity for the police to go and give a verbal warning. Sometimes they can assess if there's a situation going on in that household that's preventing the person from clearing the walk. So they don't want to just go out and start ticketing the very first time without communicating with them. And that's like, this isn't, like a motor vehicle offense where someone's like,
Sure.
but,
Okay.
so, yeah, so what would be the action item to put on the agenda for next time to come up with some questions for the questions that we might want to ask the DPW director? I mean, Jeff, you have them, and just kind of getting them down in writing would be helpful.
Yeah.
And then letting the commission see them, if we could do that at the next meeting.
Well, so you want to draw it out that far? Because I was just gonna have you guys, I was gonna invite him to the next meeting. So you want to just go over all the questions next meeting and then have him come in a future meeting?
well,
That's what I thought I heard.
because otherwise I'm shooting him. I'm just. Otherwise, I'm discussing official business over an email.
No, we have subcommittee meetings that you were, so we would go over them in the subcommittee meeting. It's up to you.
Sure.
It's your questions.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, no,
either way works for me, since we have plenty of time before the next snow comes.
You think we have plenty of time.
no, I think
I do.
it makes sense to me to talk amongst ourselves before we talk to him.
Right. But as a whole meeting or the subcommittee meeting, that's
Oh,
That's
true.
all I'm trying
I guess
to
it could be
straighten
done
out.
in subcommittee, yeah. Nope.
so. That's all I need to know is if you guys want it.
So my other suggestion would be to reach out to Greg, ask him if he's available to come to the next meeting, and then say we were hoping to put together a list of questions for you in advance. I think if you guys the questions ahead of time, it'll be better, so you can think about them and it won't feel like it's an adversarial conversation.
Got it. That makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah, in terms of time, like, we thought we were gonna have this all set for this past winter, so. Was there some other things, Stan, that, I know you wrote me various emails over the past month about, I think there was like a newsletter thing, and I asked if you had vetted it.
I'm not remembering what you're referring to.
Okay. I think it was like a newsletter you wanted maybe the commission to.
Disability Scoop,
Maybe that's
is
it.
that the one?
Yes. So you like that, and you were hoping that people could get a subscription, or?
Well, there is a cost for a subscription. I think an individual nonprofit subscription is like $5 a year or something like that. And they do have, group subscriptions. I thought they provide a lot of information about what's going on by and for disabled people. And I thought it might be useful to the group, that's all.
You okay, Jeff?
Good.
I use Disability Scoop a lot.
Okay.
At Riverside.
Well,
free
sometime,
model. There are workarounds to paywalls, and but mostly I think one thing to consider is they are aggregators mostly. If you Google their headlines, you'll find the original article. They just compile news. It is useful. Like for $5, I'm totally all for it. But for more than $5, it might, you know.
yeah, $5.
Yep.
And give me some money.
If I had some, I'd give you. So the town's never done that before, like pay for everybody on a commission.
I looked at this at some point. I couldn't find the subscription fees when this came up like a month or two ago. I looked and I sent it to the mayor, and then we couldn't find the subscription fees. It looked free to me, Stan, when I looked it up.
Okay, even better.
It's a paywall. Try clicking on 3 different articles, and then be like, you've used up your last free article. Click here to join.
Got it.
You know?
Okay. All right. Okay, so are there other things before we close the meeting? No. You were gonna say something earlier.
I lived in Easthampton.
Yeah.
We lived in an apartment. Me and my dad lived in an apartment. Every snow I would have to stay home.
Oh, that's right. I remember you sharing that because it wasn't cleared out.
And I live Spruce Hill.
Yeah, you look.
All right. So, just to go over what we're gonna do, I am gonna contact Cultural Chaos, and you're contacting the farmer's market person,
Yes.
maybe, about a table.
There's the farmer's market. There's the committees, scheduling committee meetings, and we were going to look at together about that show on Easthampton Media.
Yes. Yep. And then
And I'll reach out to the co-op.
okay, and then Greg Nuttleman, I'll write to. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so if, we'll have to approve multiple sets of minutes next meeting, and the next meeting is, June 6th, I think?
Yes.
Yes, so,
Most likely.
all right, and look out for Eli's emails about, so we're still
Thank you.
gonna try to
We're gonna start on 11.
schedule subcommittee meetings, but we're down, so we might not be able to have any subcommittee meetings. Besides the snow one, because that's the 4. Stan, you're on the snow one? The snow committee meeting? Stan? No.
I'm sorry?
Oh.
I'm available for it, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so, everybody okay with the meeting ending? Yay! All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.